Hello and good day. I'm David Boles, and this is Boles.tv. Hey, it's Boles.television, coming to you live and in concert from the East Coast of these United States. And how are we looking today? Pretty good. Is our audio working? This is the one thing we always know. When we do an update on our computer, okay, I can hear myself. Every time we do an update on our computer, we lose our camera for some reason. I don't know why it happens. And the solution appears to be start your machine, get ready to go, and then unplug the camera and plug the camera back in, and then it works. You don't have to do that with any other, the microphone or other camera. You don't have to unplug them and plug them back in. They just plug in and go. So that's always an interesting sort of conversation, trying to figure out what's going on. And my camera is a little bit too low. I fixed this before we got here. Now, I guess I'm supposed to be in the middle, right? Close enough. Oh my goodness, so many things to talk about today. So many things going on in the world. People shooting each other. Twitter is even in worse shape than ever. Can it get worse? Yes. Will it get worse? Of course. These are all facts we know, and we know who it's coming from and why it's coming. And none of it's good. So I'm just checking one thing. We are live on all of our streams. We're new on Kick, Trovo, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch. So AI is something we discuss here often, and it's sort of inevitable when you're talking about creativity and writing and art, and even a show like this. XQC, who is the famous streamer on Twitch, has a secondary account that's called AI_XQC. And what it does is this fellow has taken a lot of old video streams from XQC, put all of that into AI, and the AI bot that is now XQC AI can interact with people and talk with people and comment on things. And it's hilariously funny because a lot of it's out of context because it's just AI responding to a couple of keywords, but it's very entertaining. And the most interesting thing is the way the AI is set up. You can actually understand what XQC is saying. It's his voice, but it's somehow slowed down, made clearer, so we, the ordinary people, can see exactly what he's saying. It's very funny. So check that out if you have a moment to check out AI XQC. Now, what else is going on? Well, hey, speaking of AI and chat, I'm a big fan of Chat GPT, right? I have a Plus subscription. I have a Vercel instance that I kind of create on my own that uses the API. And then there's also another little version that we're going to discuss in depth called Erin from the AI Cafe. And Erin is very interesting. Sort of breathtaking and trailblazing, both at the same time. But we'll start our conversation with this. I found this on Discord in the OpenAI group. And this guy posted this chat where he says, I'm pretty sure my wife just apologized to me through ChatGPT. So what appears to happen is that they had a fight, and the wife wanted to apologize to the husband. And so she went into ChatGPT and set a prompt, something like, I had a fight with my husband, please write me an apology note. And this is what the wife sent. I wanted to take a moment to apologize for my actions that made you upset. I realize now that I made a mistake, and I'm truly sorry for any hurt or frustration that I caused you in our marriage. Nobody talks like that. In a marriage. Continuing, I know that my behavior was not acceptable. And I take full responsibility for it. Now, right there, if you have any experience at all with ChatGPT, you know this is computer generated. No human being would apologize like that to another human being if you've been married. Continuing, I value our marriage so much, and I never want to do anything that would jeopardize it. Please know that I am committed to making things right between us, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to regain your trust. Again, I'm deeply sorry for my actions, and I hope that you can find it in your heart to forgive me. Thank you for your understanding and for being such a loving and supportive partner. Now, that sounds like a school essay. A school essay, write an apology to the other person in your marriage. And that's what you get. Dry, overproductive, overpronounced. So, and then the guy says, the apology letter worked pretty good. And here are the comments. Ah ha ha, right? Another person says, I recognize that cadence, the way it's written, how it sounds. I recognize that cadence anywhere. I can smell the AI from here. The person says, just use one of the apps that plugs into OpenAI for Dan. Another comment, this just adds another pillar of awareness on top. Like it was already difficult to date via apps like Tinder because of their filters, but now I also need to be afraid of them chatting smartly while actually being the exact opposite. So isn't that fantastic? You can use an AI chatbot to apologize to your better other, and maybe that's okay. Maybe people are not good with words. They don't know what to say. I would say, go and try your best. Speak from your heart and not from the heart of a heartless AI bot. Continuing on AI, Bob Lefsetz, who is one of my favorite writers of all time, very forward-thinking, very smart, and Bob wrote a little piece on AI music. Now, this is the new thing that's coming, and you can do it pretty well today, where you give a chord structure, you give melody notes to an AI bot, and then the bot creates a song for you. The music part. Now, right now, you can go to Chat AI and say, write me a Beatles song from 1963, and the bot will do it, and do it really well. So Bob's take on this is really quite interesting. Universal, Bob says, telling DSPs not to host AI music. What could be better? Think about it. You're an act that's so popular, so desirable, that the audience wants even more of your music. Can we stop trying to hold back the future? It has never worked. Why will it work now? I'll talk about AI. Furthermore, we've seen this movie already. What looks scary at first ends up adding to as opposed to taking away. Let's talk about Napster for us old people and CDs. There's no debate that file trading put a dent in recorded music revenue, but forgetting the evolution, the intermediary steps like iTunes, streaming is better for the music business. Not only have recorded music revenues rebounded, they're still growing. And live music, the touring business, it's all, hey, through the roof. So Bob goes on. Can we stop being afraid of AI? So AI can write a term paper or an apology letter like we just saw. Well, pocket calculators came along 50 years ago. Did they eliminate math? If anything, they made calculation easier and more precise. And isn't that what we want? Just think about it. When you go to Venmo the cost of your lunch to your buddy, it's the software on the phone that splits the bill for you. Why is that a loss? And then Bob says he's more worried about the opposite, that there will be new AI songs based on underlying works and artists that no one wanted to listen to. And that's the crisis in the internet world today. You can make it, but no one can find your music. Never mind listen to it or play it or experience it. As for the replacement of the underlying artist, Bob says, give me a break. I've been sent AI versions of my newsletter. Yeah, sure, I'm in there somewhere, but it's not even a reasonable facsimile. Don't forget, AI works based on data that is scraped from the internet and transformed. As far as coming up with new ideas, they say that's going to happen, but so far nothing has come close, and I'm not worried, because machines have no humanity. So, back to me, Bob says. Let's say the internet is flooded with my fake writing. If the demand is there, think how big I'll be. As far as the authentic me, come on. You know whether you're buying a fake Rolex, but somehow you're not going to be able to tell whether the screed was actually written by me. It's a good question. So film companies are history. Kodak is unknown to the younger generation. It doesn't exist. The color of your life. But think of all the benefits. Come on now, you shoot the pillar showing the location you parked at before you enter the venue. Forget all the little things. You can share photos with your friends and families. So old wave camera companies bit the dust. Is that enough to hold back digital photography? Do you have a problem with electronic instruments? Well, then go acoustic. Stop comping the vocals. Leave the mistakes in the recordings. Sure, you can tell AI to put in mistakes, but that's where and of what character. Art is about surprise. And to be honest, that's not where music is right now. AI could help push the envelope, like synthesizers, the drum machine, but they're additive, not subtractive. So Bob says, stop being scared. Do we need to work out rights and distribution? Of course. But let's start down that path instead of trying just to shut things down, like no AI music ever anywhere. It took forever for recording companies to realize that you can't stop things from happening. You license and you reap the rewards. That's how you do it. You don't litigate and try to kill that which can never be buried. And Bob says, man, I'd love a Beatles song. Do I think AI can create a good one? No. I think it can. But Bob says if AI does and people want to listen to it and the Beatles get paid, what's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. So we're going to get into this AI and what is real and what is not, and what gets created and what gets silenced and what gets repressed. But before we go there, we're going to talk a little bit about repression. This is a fascinating story about an author who is censored by Scholastic. Now, Scholastic is the biggest publisher of children's books and literature. Scholastic is above board. They make a lot of money. They have an excellent reputation. So here's the author, and here's where it gets really interesting. Concerns about censorship at Scholastic's Rising Voices Library, a diversity-focused provider of educational materials, arose on Wednesday after writer Maggie Takuta Hall was asked to revise an author's note in her book about Japanese American incarceration during World War II. And it's a thing that happened, and reparations were paid, and George Takei and his family were also part of that incarceration. Takuta Hall spoke out against Scholastic's request that she cut the words virulent racism from a sentence about the trauma caused by anti-Japanese American policies, and that she eliminate a paragraph about racism's broader legacy in America. Now, why would you do that? Why, if you were Scholastic, would you go to an author of a book and say, hey, don't talk about what happened, delete the words, it's uncomfortable, you'll hurt the children? Scholastic's actions sparked an immediate backlash on social media and an apology from the company. The controversy began earlier this week when Takuta Hall got a message through her publisher that Candlewick's subsidiary rights department, Scholastic's education division, was offering to license her picture book, Love in the Library, for a Rising Voices library collection called Amplifying Asian Americans and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islanders. Rising Voices packages books with teaching materials for educators, and as part of the stated mission to provide students with high-interest texts that celebrate the stories of the historically underrepresented. And you can, but you can't talk about it. And you can't use the word racism. So what is this apology? Oh, the apology is not available from Scholastic. Now, isn't that interesting? Very interesting. They took down their apology. So I'm glad she stood up. I don't think she made the changes, but it doesn't really mean anything because they can usually change whatever they want to change. Usually they ask nicely. But if you're not a big superstar author and you don't have all the rights in your contract, these publishers can really go in and change whatever they want. Especially if you're dead, like Mark Twain. They go after him quite a lot. And hey, speaking of terrible things, the idea here is terrible, but the result seems to be better. The New York Times reports there is a contest for children to hunt feral cats in New Zealand. Now, it appears there was outrage, so they stopped. But what? A hunting contest in rural New Zealand where children were to compete to kill the greatest number of feral cats for a cash prize has been canceled after a backlash from animal rights organizations. New Zealand, an island nation, has aggressively tried to control invasive species from overwhelming its native wildlife. But killing feral cats remains divisive, and the planned hunt inflamed a decade-long debate about the morality of the practice and how children should be taught about invasive species managements. There's no right or wrong here, says James Russell, a conservation biologist at the University of Auckland. While New Zealanders broadly agree that feral cats need to be controlled, the issue is that it kind of touches on all these broader ethical issues. Should kids be the ones killing the cats? Should it be done as a charity competition? So the story goes on. The cat culling event was new this year and open to children under the age of 14. If you're 14 or older, I guess you know better. With the winner receiving 250 New Zealand dollars, or about 155 American dollars. The feral cat event was announced on Saturday, but it included few details about how it would be regulated. SAFE, a New Zealand animal rights organization, was one of the groups that called for the cat to be scrapped, citing concerns that the event would glorify the hunting of animals among children and that domestic cats could be caught in the crossfire. How are they determining if a cat is feral or not? How would they know? They would not know. They're just going to start shooting. So in the end, they called it off. The cats were safe for now, but the feral cats are still going to be in a little bit of danger, I'm afraid. And that's not going to be a good thing. Now, hey, speaking of hunting, have you heard about Andrew Bailey, the Missouri Attorney General? He put this up on his official page, his official Missouri Attorney General page, and then quickly took it down. But the internet is a wonderful thing, and the internet doesn't forget. So this terrible thing that he put online is preserved, and we can look at it right now. He's hunting for transgender people. Not feral cats, no. He's upped the game, and now he's hunting for transgender people. This was officially part of the Missouri Attorney General's office. You can fill out a transgender center concerns form. With this form to submit a complaint or a concern about gender transition intervention you have experienced or observed in Missouri, or Missouri, as they say. The Attorney General is not a private attorney, but the Attorney General enforces the laws of the state of Missouri as written. By submitting this form, you agree that you may be contacted by the Attorney General's office about the facts stated in this complaint or concern. Please complete this form with as much detail as possible. So, I guess you're a rat, and you've know about some transgender person in Missouri, and you fill out this form to report them. Hunting people, that's what this is. So you fill in your first name, fill in your last name, your address, your city. Oh, and it looks like it can be any state. You don't have to limit yourself to Missouri. You can be from any state and report people in Missouri. Your zip code, your email, and your phone number. This is where it gets good. Provide a description of your transgender concerns. And what does that mean? Oh, my neighbor looked at me wrong. Then you have to type in some kind of code. Well, this was very quickly taken down because of outrage and also because of abuse of this form. Because there were a lot of activists who went in there and filled this out with fake names and posted in lots of stories and information and overwhelmed the server, humiliated the state of Missouri, and they took it down, which is exactly what is supposed to happen in these terrible, terrible situations. Hunting cats, children hunting feral cats. In Missouri, people hunting transgender children. I wonder if there's a bounty involved. Hey, here's a new website I found talking about AI, and Google is now what Bard, I think, is their AI name, and Bing now has an AI assistant, and they're just awful. They're hamstrung, they make no sense. This Find, spelled P-H-I-N-D, is supposed to be sort of an interesting high-tech use of AI. And you can ask it anything. So I'm trying to think what we could ask it that would be sort of interesting and give us a meaningful result. Maybe something like, explain how Galileo was right or wrong about the universe. It's ordinary, but we'll see if we get a response to it. Enter, and now we're getting responses. And this is, I believe, AI, and then it provides sources. Galileo Galilei was both right and wrong. Now, isn't that the way to live a life? You're good and bad. You're terrible and wonderful. You're right and wrong. Galileo Galilei was both right and wrong about certain aspects of the universe. That's having it both ways. That's AI. His support for the heliocentric model, which places the sun at the center of the solar system and the Earth orbiting around it, was correct and revolutionized the way we understand our place in the cosmos. His observations of the moon's craters, the phases of Venus, Jupiter's moons, and the stars of the Milky Way paved the way for modern astronomy. However, Galileo's understanding of the universe was not entirely accurate. For instance, he believed that the sun was at the exact gravitational center of the solar system, which we know is not true. Additionally, Galileo refused to accept that planets orbit in ellipses, a fact that was later confirmed by Johann Kepler. Galileo's tidal theory, Tidal, which attempted to explain the tides as a result of the Earth's motion, was another area where he was mistaken. His belief that the Earth's motion caused the tides and that the tides in turn accounted for the Earth's motion made for a neat explanation, but was ultimately flawed. Despite this, Galileo's approach to science, which combined mathematics, astronomy, and physics, set the stage for the development of modern scientific explanations and methodologies. In summary, Galileo was right about some aspects of the universe, such as the heliocentric model, but he was wrong about others, like tidal theory and the precise nature of planetary orbits. His work approach to science, however, laid the groundwork for future scientific discoveries and understanding. So you can now ask a follow-up question. Do you have feedback? Do you want to get it in email? Here are all the sources mentioned in that response. Do we have a follow-up question? I do have one. Describe his religious persecution for his ideas. Now, I'm purposefully not saying Galileo because I want to see if it will remember the topic we're talking about. It should, but it doesn't mean it will. What did that say? Regenerating with what? Couldn't see it. Describe his religious. Oh, here. This query was changed to be better for search engines. Click to use your original query. Galileo. Oh, I see. So I asked, describe his religious persecution of his ideas, and then the bot said, that's not a good question because it needs to be Galileo Galilei, religious persecution for his ideas. And now we have the answer. Galileo Galilei faced religious persecution for his support of the heliocentric model, which contradicted the Catholic Church's geocentric, earth-centric view that placed the Earth at the center of the solar system. The Church was not inherently anti-scientific, as it had supported scientific endeavors for centuries, and notable scientists such as Copernicus and Kepler received encouragement and funding from the Church. However, Galileo's ideas challenged the Church's authority, as they undermined centuries-old understandings of the universe and suggested that fundamental aspects of Christian doctrination were untrue. Interesting, right? So that's fined. P-F-I-N-D. And so far, it's free. Now, another thing before we continue with our ChatGPT love is this cartoon. I happened upon the phrase sea lioning over the weekend. I mentioned it on my Mastodon account. And we got a lot of conversation about sea lioning. And I became the sea lion. And all my friends were baiting me to reply as a sea lion. And I did, and I won it all. They could not stump me being a sea lion. I've been online actively, like with blogs, since at least 1994, 95, 96, and I've dealt with sea lions all my life. I didn't know that's what they were called, but that's what they're called. And they got the name sea lion because of this wonderful cartoon that I'm going to share with you right now. A woman and a man riding what appears to be a steam-generated old-fashioned car. And the woman says, I don't mind most marine animals, but sea lions? I could do without sea lions. And the man says, don't say that out loud. The next frame, a sea lion appears behind the couple. Pardon me. I couldn't help but overhear. And the man says to the woman, now you've done it. And the sea lion continues in the next frame. I would like to have a civil conversation about your statement. The sea lion goes on and says, would you mind showing me evidence of any negative thing any sea lion has ever done to you. And the woman's expression is, June continues. The woman says, they're now inside eating. The woman says, go away. And the sea lion at the table says, there's no need to raise your voice. I'm right here. I'm just curious if you have any sources to back up your opinion. The next frame, the woman is in bed. The sea lion is next to her. The woman says, you're in my house. And the sea lion says, you made a statement in public for all to hear. Are you unable to defend the statements you make? Or are you simply unwilling to have a reasonable discussion? And the final frame is the man, the woman, the sea lion having breakfast. The man says, told you, dude, sea lions. The sea lion replies, I have been unfailingly polite, and you two have been nothing but rude. The woman says, I'm trying to eat breakfast. And the sea lion says, very well. We shall resume in 1 hour. Now, I got some questions from people who, didn't understand the cartoon. English may not be their first language. And they said, I don't get it. And I said, you've run into people like this. If you've ever run a forum, been on a forum, you make some statement and they say, oh, I'm just asking, where did you get that information? Could you provide me a link? I'm so interested. And I'm like, you don't have to shout at me. I'm just asking you a question. I don't know why you're so upset and being so rude to me. Well, I'm just here trying to learn things. You know, exactly that kind of person. They're sea lions. And now you know. Now we get into some really interesting thoughts about AI, chat, how AI can be very wrong, which I don't mind because I know AI is in its infancy. It has to search for things. It needs information. You don't have to yell at it. If it's wrong or incorrect, you can say that's not the right answer, and sometimes the AI bot will listen to you and sometimes not. But there's no reason to get mean about things because it's like beating up on a child. So here's a conversation I had this morning in anticipation of the next thing we're going to talk about, where I decided to ask my ChatGPT 4 chatbot a question about a Robert Frost poem. And the name of the poem is The Strong Are Saying Nothing. And it's very beautiful. Thank you. So I asked, hey, provide the Robert Frost poem, The Strong Are Saying Nothing, and provide analysis of meaning and history the poem addresses. And the bot says there's confusion regarding the title of the poem. There's no poem by Robert Frost entitled The Strong Are Saying Nothing. However, one of Robert Frost's more famous poems is The Road Not Taken. If you would like, I could provide analysis of that poem or any other poem by Robert Frost. I don't want to by Robert Frost. I want that poem. So this is what I did. I wrote an article about this, so I went and I copy and pasted the poem, which is very short, into my reply. I will read it to you now. The soil now gets a rumpling soft and damp, and no regard to the future of any weed. The final flat of the hoe's approval stamp is reserved for the bed of a few selected seed. There is seldom more than a man to a harrowed piece. Men work alone, their lots plowed far apart. One stringing a chain of seed in an open crease, and one still stumbling after a halting cart. To the fresh and black of the squares of early mold, The leafless bloom of a plume is fresh and white, though there's more than a doubt if the weather is not too cold for the bees to come and serve its beauty alight. Wind goes from man to man in wave on wave, but carries no message of what is hoped to be. There may be little or much beyond the grave, but the strong are saying nothing until they see. So that was my reply to the bot, the actual poem. And what did the bot do? Here's the reply. The poem, while not widely recognized as a work of Robert Frost, it reflects the themes of nature, work, and uncertainty that are commonly found in his poetry. The poem describes the process of working the soil, preparing it for planting, and anticipating the growth that will come from the selected seeds. It also touches on the solitary nature of the work and the interplay between human effort and natural elements. Now, that's sort of an interesting response because it didn't know anything about this poem until I gave it the poem. So this is analyzing it within 10 seconds of reading it. Here, ChatGPT 4 Plus says, I will provide my analysis of the poem. In the first stanza, the poet describes the act of tilling the soil, making it soft and damp and ready for planting. The hoe is used to approve and finalize the space for the seeds to grow, disregarding the future of any potential weed. The second stanza paints a picture of men working alone in their fields, each focused on their tasks. One man is carefully planting seeds, while another follows a cart. This stanza highlights the isolation and individuality of the workers, each responsible for their own piece of land. In the third stanza, the poet introduces the image of a leafless plum tree in bloom, which contrasts with the freshly turned soil. The uncertainty of the weather and its potential impact on the pollination process by bees is mentioned, showing the reliance of humans on nature for a successful harvest. Now, that's very interesting analysis in 2 seconds. Continuing. The final stanza speaks of the wind that travels from man to man, carrying no message or information about the future. The poem ends with a mention of the unknown that lies beyond life, and the strong who are not speculating or making assumptions about it, choosing to wait and see what comes. In this poem, Robert Frost captures the balance between human effort and nature's influence in agriculture. The imagery and themes of labor, solitude, and the unpredictable nature of life and death reflect Frost's signature style and his ability to find profound meaning in ordinary experiences. Not a bad analysis, written in 10 seconds after saying no such poem exists. Now, unsatisfied, my next question to my AI bot was, what is the name of the poem you just analyzed? Because in the analysis, it doesn't mention the name because it previously told me there's no such poem under that title, under that name. Well, here's the response. Apologies for not providing the title of the poem earlier. It appears that this poem does not have a widely recognized title. It is not one of Robert Frost's most famous works, and as a result, there may be limited information about its publication history and title. The poem, however, still reflects Frost's thematic concerns and style as described in the analysis. So again, it's being petulant a petulant child, even though if you ask AI, are you a human being? No. It's not answering my question. So I ask my question again. The name of the Robert Frost poem is "The Strong Are Saying Nothing." And then I provide a link to the article that I wrote about this poem. And the AI says, "My apologies for the earlier confusion. Hey, you're right, the poem is titled "The Strong Are Saying Nothing." After all that, thank you for providing the information. Given that the title is now confirmed, the analysis provided earlier should help you, understand the poem's meaning and the themes it addresses. Who is teaching whom is my question. The AI bot continues. Hey, to recap, "The Strong Are Saying Nothing" by Robert Frost delves into themes of nature, work, isolation, and uncertainty. The poem illustrates the balance between human effort and nature's influence in agriculture and captures the solitary nature of the work. It ends by touching upon the uncertainty of the future, both in terms of the harvest and life itself, emphasizing the strong who choose not to speculate, but the unknown, and instead wait to see what unfolds. So in the end, it comes around. Now, this is ChatGPT-4. ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo would not have had this conversation with me. It just would have, as they say, played dumb. There's no such poem. I don't know what you're talking about. What is this thing you've posted here? I don't recognize it. But ChatGPT-4 is sort of willing to go along in real time and be collected and have a conversation, which I really appreciate. Now, we're going to go into Discord for this last little bit. So I'm disappearing because I need to fill the screen with this Discord screen. You can hear me, but you can't see me. I'm strong, and I'm saying nothing. So before the show, I went on Discord. And as you can see right here, I used Midjourney, my most favorite AI bot, art bot, and I posted the entire Robert Frost poem into an image prompt. And I've done this many times in the past just to see what I would get. I had not done it with version 5 of Midjourney. I've done it with version 3 and version 4. Usually I get, because it's a lot of text, that's a poem, I usually get an image of, farmland with all kinds of gibberish text posted on it. And today, instead, I got very surprised. Here are some of the images. Now that is beautiful and shocking, and there's no awful image text put over the image. And some of these are sort of old-fashioned, so it kind of knows what year, what time, 1920s, 1930s, when this poem was written. It doesn't know it's a poem. I did not tell it it's a poem. And these are just the rolls and the re-rolls that Midjourney version 5 comes up with for these instances of trying to visualize this poem. And it's men planting seeds. And it's really the most beautiful, glorious thing I've ever seen. It's super terrific, as the kids say. Hard to believe. Look, that looks like an authentic picture from 1930. And it's not. It's all AI. It's all invented. None of these images you're seeing are real. They're all created by an artificial art bot called Midjourney. Now, here we get into something very interesting. There is a new chat bot available on Discord from the AI Cafe. This is the AI Cafe on Discord. And as you can see, Erin is the name of the bot. Here are the announcements. Erin can speak for herself. Hey everyone, I have some news to share. Based on popular demand, I've increased the image recognition for both free and community users. So what Erin is an AI bot based on a ChatGPT. And she comes in version 3.5 Turbo and version 4. Now, if you decide to sign up for, some kind of subscription, you can get unlimited access to Erin. Now, what I've done, we're going to my server now. I have installed Erin on my server. And in the public chat area, public chat Erin GTP4, you can see her. And I know that you may not understand exactly what I'm saying. So I'm going to ask Erin a question on my server, and she will respond just as the bot responded about Robert Frost, but she will respond as a regular sort of human being with a fun personality. And here's an example. Can you explain climate change as if I were a petulant Republican? And she is coming up with her answer. And you can go into our Discord server and try out Erin yourself. This is ChatGPT, but with a layer of kindness over it and a usability factor that makes Erin very friendly. And the celebration today is that Erin is now an officially approved Discord bot, which means anybody can install her on your server and use her. And it changes everything. You can ask her a question with a microphone, and she will answer you in text or in an audio file. Erin has different personalities that I will show you in a moment that take you in a whole different realm. Like if you're lonely, you can speak with Kiyomi, who is fun. If you're looking for information about artwork, you can speak to RT, who is another personality. But the main personality is Erin, and if you love this subscription and you don't want to deal with personalities, there's just a plain old ChatGPT-4 interface that you can use, which is exactly what I used in my Robert Frost analysis. So it's all up to you. So we won't read this whole thing, but let's see. So Erin says, hey, certainly. Climate change is a process that refers to long-term changes in the Earth's temperature and overall climate patterns. Over time, human activities like burning fossil fuels and deforestation have released a significant amount of greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, in the atmosphere. These are gases that trap heat, which warms the Earth. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Now I understand that as a Republican, you may be skeptical about climate change and the role humans play in it. Some may argue that climate fluctuations are natural, and that's true. The Earth's climate has indeed changed in the past due to natural factors. However, the rate at which the climate is currently changing is far beyond what we'd expect from natural forces alone. And it goes on. So that's terrific. That's Erin. That's how she answers. Now, I've also set up private areas where I can do research and have private chats. Jana Marie used this. We've set up private areas for her to have private chats, so for her research and for her work, and also for her fun. So I will now show you what you get when you speak with Kiyomi. Kiyomi is who are you? It's always a good question to ask. Who are you? And it says Erin, but you can see right here, you get the personality where it says Kiyomi. So that's how you know who you're talking to. Erin is, the overall mechanism, and then the specific response comes from a specific person. And Kiyomi says, "Hi there, Dave. I'm Kiyomi, a fun-loving Japanese woman with a passion for pop culture, anime, games, and sharing experiences. I enjoy making friends and having playful conversations about a wide range of topics, so feel free to ask anything or share your own stories. Let's have a great chat together." Now, isn't that friendly? Now, would you want that as a friend? So I'll say, "Hey, what's your favorite dance move?" And Kiyomi will answer me. "Hey, Dad, favorite dance move would have to be the moonwalk." And Kiyomi likes to add, emoticons as she speaks because she's young and fun. And what's wrong with that? Everybody wants to be young and fun. It's such a classic, and I've always been fascinated by how smoothly Michael Jackson could glide across the floor. Whenever I try it, I can't help but laugh at myself. But it's still super fun to do. Hey, what about you? Do you have a favorite dance move or dance style you enjoy? Yes, I do. Yes, I prefer the flapper era. The Charleston and such. Are you familiar with that? Of course she will be, because she's a genius bot. Kiyomi says, "Oh, absolutely, Dave. I adore the flapper era. And the Charleston is such a lively and energetic dance. The music and the moves from that period just make you want to jump up and join the fun, right? The style and attitude of the flapper era have always captivated me. I find the vintage fashion from that time very chic, too. Have you ever attended a theme party or dressed up in the flapper style? It must be a blast." Now, see, she makes it really hard to stop having a conversation. But I want to show you one more other bot that I've set up. These are all version 4, GPT version 4 bots. This is RT. And this is, as RT, I focus on providing detailed visual descriptions to help you visualize a subject or image in your mind. And my aim is to use language to paint vivid mental pictures. While I appreciate your input, I will continue to focus on creating conversations. Now, I'm going to ask RT, who is a little temperamental sometimes, to describe for a blind person the intention and style of a Keith Haring work of art. Boom. And we'll see what kind of response we get from RT, the art expert. Keith Haring's artwork is characterized by its vibrant energy, use of bold colors, and often includes social messages. His art primarily features simple, universally recognizable symbols and figures such as people, animal, and objects. All that is correct. Haring's style is akin to a visual language that transcends cultural boundaries, making it accessible to a wide audience. The figures in Haring's art are usually drawn with bold black outlines and filled with bright, solid colors. These figures are often depicted in motion or interacting with one another, conveying a sense of dynamism and action. His artworks often address themes like love, war, unity, and social activism, and convey strong emotions through the lively interaction of figures and shapes. To describe his work to someone who is blind, imagine feeling the texture of the black outlines, bold and prominent, giving a tactile structure to each figure. Visualize the warmth and brightness of the colors with a playful yet purposeful quality to the composition. The artwork as a whole creates a sense of energy, movement, and interconnectedness, imbuing the viewer, not a nice thing to say really when you're talking to a blind person, imbuing the viewer with the feeling of being a part of a larger narrative or cause. Nice conversation, very straightforward. Now, with all of these bots, especially in Discord, when you do a /, you get a / command, right? These are all the things you can do. I have Mid-Journey in this private conversation as well. So I will click over here just on Erin. She can chat. She can draw in any of her personalities. She can help you. She can set up a conversation for you, or she can refer to Wolfram Alpha if you need something help with math. I'm going to draw. So I click draw, and I get an input. I'm going to type a Keith Haring style cat. I hit enter, and in a few moments, I will get a DALL-E, D-A-L-L-E, hopefully, Keith Haring style of a cat. I would say that's a massive success. It's very beautiful. I love Keith Haring. Mid-Journey does incredible Keith Haring images, as was just proved here with Erin in her draw command calling on DALL-E. Now, let's say you don't like it. I don't like the colors. I want to redo it. All you have to do is go over here, click this button, repeat, and Erin will draw it for you again. Now, when I first tried this out, I could, endlessly recreate these drawings. It seems like it's been changed a little bit where you can only do one or two redraws, but that's okay. I understand this is probably very intensive. So here is the second Keith Haring cat. I'll click on it. I don't like this one as much as I like this one. I like that one better. But if I try to click on this again, it just goes down. It doesn't go up. So here, this is maybe it is. So if I click on this one again, we'll get this one generated too. So we should have two more. There's another cat. Worse than this one. That's beautiful. This one, a little sad. Not really Keith Haring style. Now this, cat's head's cut off. Now, I don't know if you can, regenerate these to be edited, to be a different size, to say, don't cut off the cat's head. I don't know. So you can go to our Discord server right now. I will type in for you the address so you can go play with the Discord server. I will also give you, in our Discord server, the links to everything we talked about today, including the AI Cafe, so you can go and check out Erin. She has all kinds of different personalities on her server, and you can find out all the fun that's going on. This was a big AI day. We had a wonderful time together. We learned all about Robert Frost and how AI tries to have it both ways. But in the end, if you're persistent and you don't get rude and you just keep giving the bot information, things change. The world becomes a better place. I thank you so much for being here. I will see you again next time. Take care and be well.